Hey guys, it's Greg and Janet with Strange RV Tours, and today we are at the Sparkman Hillcrest Memorial Park Cemetery in Dallas, Texas, off of Northwest Highway. And this is where you end up buried if you have a lot of money or are a dignitary. This is the fanciest, probably most expensive cemetery in all of Dallas. And today we are here to see Ross Perot. You can see the cemetery here. Just a beautiful place. Beautiful place. I mean, absolutely gorgeous. We were just talking about how beautiful this cemetery is as we pulled in. Right here is the monument for the Perot family. This is the area where they're buried at here at Sparkman Hillcrest. And right here is Ross Perot, born in 1930. Passed away in 2019. This is the Ross Perot that ran for President of the United States. Right next to Mr. Perot, resting, is his mother, who was born in 1897, passed away in 1979, Lula Mae Perot. Right next to Lula Mae is Ross Jr., who would be Ross Perot's brother, who passed away before Ross Perot was actually born. Ross Jr. only lived to be 3 years old. Died in 1927. And then right next to Ross Jr. is G. Ross Perot, which would be Ross Perot's father. Born in 1899, passed away in 1955. Just a beautiful location here. And we have a little bit of information for you about Ross Perot, some personal insights.
Yeah. Well, Ross Perot was born in Texarkana, so he loved Texas because he stayed here. And he started EDS, and what year? I'm not sure.
I'm not sure what year he started.
I know EDS stands for Electronic Data Systems. And a big to-do thing out at Plano, Frisco, in that area. And he sold it to General Motors in 1984 for like 2.4 billion bucks. But Greg knew a lot more about EDS because he had friends that actually worked there. Now, I worked at a grocery store, mind you, but remember the big to-do about Hillary getting her hair cut for like 600 bucks and how much money she spent on just a haircut? Well, he was all over the news when he was running for president. He paid 10 bucks for a haircut. And get this, it was right next door to where I worked in North Dallas. Preston Forrest Barber. Bob was the owner. He used to come into the store all the time. Ross came into the store numerous times. I've seen him and his son countless times, along with Charlie Pride and other. I was in a fancy store, you guys. Preston Forest was an exclusive area, and the store was called Minyards, and I was a manager there. So I met Ross there. He's a cute little guy, man, but he used to get his hair cut right next door for 10 bucks, and they had the news crew there and everything else, and everybody interviewed Bob, and but actually when I drove in to the cemetery here today, went into the office, I wanted to get a map to know exactly where Perot was laid to rest. The guy at the desk used to get his hair cut there too. He knew Ross Perot, and actually one day when the guy at the desk was waiting for a haircut, Ross came in and said, "Hey Bob, when can you fit me in?" He goes, "Oh, I've got several in front of you. You're going to have to wait." Well, he was fine with that. That's cool. He was one of the guys, all right? But I thought that was a pretty neat story, that we kind of, knew each other just by association. I worked right next door, and that guy used to get his hair cut there too, and it's a small world. But Ross Perot was a neat little guy. I mean, and I liked his attitude, and I was actually hoping he would win the presidency, because he wasn't a normal politician, and he loved this country. But Greg, you know about the EDS stuff more than I do. You want to tell him about it?
Sure. Okay, so when Ross Perot moved EDS's central office or main location to Plano, Texas, where I grew up, at that time in the early 80s, Plano was going through a little bit of a recession. My father was a custom home builder, and when EDS moved there to town, home building just exploded. I mean, my father sold several houses to people that worked at EDS, and one of the gentlemen that he sold a house to was a vice president at EDS, and he told us a story that I don't know if it's true or not, but I believe it is. He said that the reason that Ross Perot was so successful with electronic data systems was because when he started the company, he tried to hire only ex-military. And his theory was that the military had the best computer programmers, the best computer technicians, and that being in the military, Ross believed that the military didn't ask questions. If you were ex-military, that he said, I could tell an employee what I wanted done, and I didn't have to worry about it. It was going to get done. They didn't ask questions about how I wanted it done, or he said he left it up to them and it was just taken care of. There was no, well, we can't do that because of this problem or this problem. Ross said they would just take care of it. And another theory behind him hiring ex-military was EDS is a very secretive company. If you've ever been by their campus over there, it's completely blocked off from the public. You have to go through guard gates and everything to get in. But Ross also didn't want employees that would leak information, and ex-military are less likely to do that. So anyhow, that's how EDS kind of took off. But Ross Perot, Plano would not be what Plano is today without Ross Perot and electronic data systems. It completely rejuvenated Plano, especially on the west side, which is the more ritzy area side of Plano, and it sparked home building, businesses, and literally became a worldwide corporation. So anyhow, so Ross Perot did do a lot of really good things, and I too was a fan of Ross Perot. He did a lot of good stuff. I know that the way he ran his campaign was a little strange. He took a lot of heat for using a eraser board, a marker eraser board during his presentations instead of using computer graphics and everything on his lectures. But that was Ross. He didn't believe in spending a bunch of extra money on things that he didn't consider necessary, and he was trying to show that our government was really wasteful. So anyhow, it didn't work out for him, as we all know, but still, Ross Perot is a very well recognized name. Anyhow, he lived a good life. So, but this is where he's buried, and like we said, this is a gorgeous, gorgeous cemetery. So anyhow, I thought you guys might like to see it.
Strange RV tours will take you places with Greg and Janet's smiling faces. You might see a crazy flavored soda review or some tips to fix your RV too. So come along, won't you join us, friend, as we discover what's around the bend. Just sit right back in your easy chair. Strange RV Tours is on the air. Strange RV Tours is on the air.